Are you at all interested in the chemistry that allows for minds to exist, or is this just well, it's a much more narrow category, but it's a subcategory of the chemistry for life. But are you just, I mean, first we need to nail down the chemistry for life before we get to the chemistry for minds.
Yeah, I mean, they come together, right? I'm interested in the chemistry of how does a brain work? What does a brain do that it seems to turbocharge what life does, right? Because life is exploring novelty and so on. That has to do it in a Darwinian way. Brain seems to be imagined counterfactuals and can and doesn't you don't have to die to kind of to develop stuff. And so the understanding how the the initial building blocks of life, and as life develops, single cells and so on, and you become to multicellularity, how that chemistry was co-opted and used in the formation of a brain and the neurotransmitters is really interesting. I mean, reading a book by a philosopher, Peter Godfrey Smith, or three books he's written, and he's talked about like there's obviously octopuses and mammals seem to be intelligent, but at different from different branches in the tree of life, and they seem to use different molecules in their brains, right? And have slightly and that seem to do analogous things. I'm not an expert in it. I haven't checked it out, but it's at least at the surface level, it's really interesting to see how biology uses molecules to undergo cognition. And I hesitate to use the word compute because I don't mean compute, do I? I mean conscious. What's conscious pute? Copute. Whatever the chemistry of consciousness is super interesting because obviously there's neurotransmitters and there's basically ion channels and there's all these things your brain does, but there's these things your brain does that we don't know about yet that is really exciting. So I am interested, and it does fall from one to the other. But I would understand where those earliest mechanisms are. I do not subscribe to one school of thought where consciousness came first, or panpsychism. I'm not sure where that gets you, but I am very interested in at what scale does chemical cognition, become psychological cognition? Because at the end of the day, psychological cognition is chemical cognition. It's just I can convince other entities I have a psychology, that I am an entity. Whereas if you looked at a slime mold or a series of bacteria working out when they're communicating, you wouldn't necessarily go, oh yeah, that's the bacteria is conscious. It'd be like, no, the bacteria is living and respiring and exchanging messengers. So I would like to know how primitive are those chemical messengers that are then used in our advanced minds today. Because bacteria do a thing called quorum sensing, or some classes of bacteria, where they can sense molecules out in the environment and then they fluoresce and you get a little color change. So you're almost like bacteria can put out messengers, probe the environment, and they can literally see their food or see their potential adversaries and ways to transmit their genetic information, so on and so forth.